Write a book, write a book and co-collaborate with your students. Welcome back to Keep Inspiration Alive. I am your host, Mr. Michael Adams, and this is Keep Inspiration Alive, as I just mentioned. Hey, Global Inspiration Nation. Hope everyone's having a wonderful, phenomenal day. I want to talk about when you start writing your book. I really want to plant that seed. Write your book, right? Tell your story, right? Tell your story and then shift it in a dynamic that you can help other people. What is your journey that you've gone through? Right. And so then you want to start writing it out and then identify who your students are. But you're like, but Mr. Michael Adams, I'm not a coach. I don't have students. Yeah, you do. You got to shift the way that you think about it. So you have people that look up to you. You have people that have like followed you, your advice, and like have witnessed your journey. You need to like figure out and identify those people. Through that, they will be like your number one supporters. And it's also a good way to reflect back onto them like, hey, what is it that like, you know, you need. So you want to like try to fulfill a need. So locate a problem, find a problem, find one problem, solve one problem, right? And then like how you do that is you really like hone in on the people as you've been putting out and producing content, keeping it on a positive dynamic and helping people in your own way through your journey of self growth, personal development, and spiritual growth, right? You've been documenting your journey as you've gone through that. And now people have been paying attention. So now when you start writing your book, find those people and you want to start co-collaborating with them, start co-creating. I don't know if there's a difference between co-creating and co-collaborating, but anyways, what you're going to do is just kind of like share your ideas. Like, here's what I'm going through. What do you think? And it helps like broaden the horizons. And then you're able to like help with that person. Now they feel like a part included with it. And they're like, yay, because now it's like you're building something that's like for someone and other people and your number one students, people who've taken action that you've noticed that once you do stuff, they see you do it and they're like, hey, I'm going to do that too. And so like you kind of hone in on that. So anyways, today I spoke with my number one student. I'm spending some time with her on the phone the last few days, kind of co-collaborating, co-creating, coming up with some ideas. This is like the 10th time I've written the book. As I go through the book, I go through the writing process. I go through it. Does it feel authentic? The first few, no. And then the last time I identified that it's like really comes down to honing it into through a coaching session I went through. And I'd like to pay that forward. Find one problem, solve one problem, pick one problem, solve one problem, right? And so through the process, I ended up talking to my number one student, trying to get some ideas. And I was going to take it a whole other direction. And my number one student's like, hey, like, I'm waiting for your book to come out because it's going to save my life. And like, I need that book to come out because like the transformative journey that you've gone through, I've witnessed you, I've observed you over the last couple of years, and I need to know exactly how you did it. And like, it's going to be amazing. I'm like, oh, like really touched my heart. So therefore, like, I like shifted back. Okay, well, what is it that like you're looking for? Like, what is it? So like, you kind of like get ideas, like a sense of just by being able to like talk to your number one students, your students, identify them. And it's like a new concept for me, because it was like, I didn't even realize this until this person said like, oh, well, you're going to change the dynamic. Well, like, that's not like a book that I would even read, like the way that you're going to go about it. I'm like, oh, really? She's like, yeah, like, I want you to think about this. Like, that person even said to me, she's like, I'm your number one student. Like, I have followed you. And I'm like, huh, yeah, I guess you're right. I never even really like thought about that. Like, it never even like dawned on me to like, because I was always thinking like, well, students, they got to be like paid or something like that. No, they don't. It's like a whole like dynamic, like paradigm shift. Like, oh, wait a minute. I do have people that are following me. I do have people that are looking up to me. And like, just because like that person said that to me, I'm like, huh, wow, well, that's really interesting. I had not thought about that. And it kind of like blew my mind because I was like always wrapped up in the whole dynamic of like, well, I have to have people that are paying me in order to like say that I have clients or a student. That's not right. That's not accurate. So it's like, oh, shift. So now I'm like kind of like reflecting back on like, okay, well, who has been following me? And so anyway, so we've been co-collaborating throughout the process. And then we're kind of like going back and forth with some ideas. of like really to like get the book like really good, because this book is like really amazing. I've shared the book with this person, the last like 10 of them that I've done, and that person's like, oh my goodness gracious, like this book needs to come out. And every time I rewrite it, it gets better and better and better and better. And so think about that when you write your own book. And then today, as we were kind of like playing with ideas, because I had to reroute it again, as I'm still like creating the 10th draft, 10th edition of the first edition. All right. And so, we were playing with idea. We're shooting ideas back and forth, like as far as like the focus, what it's going to focus on, the storytelling, how to go about it, title, subtitle, one issue, resolve one issue, or one issue, resolve one issue, solve one issue, something like that. So find one problem, solve one problem. That's what it is. And really going through the dynamic and then hearing out what that person has to say on what it was that I went through that inspired this person so much that that person feels like this book is going to save that person's life. And I'm like, wow. And so like, because of that, like that is something to like pay attention and listen to. Think about that with your book as well. So I try to spin these over to help you guys think as well. I really want people to like start thinking on bigger levels. Think outside. Share your story. Authenticity. You've gone through a journey. You have stuff worth sharing. Like reflect on that. And one of the things that we did today, we went over after we were bouncing ideas back and forth, topics, a whole bunch of different dynamics, topics, focus, storytelling, all that. Then I was like, well, wait a minute, because we were talking after like 2 hours of communication, talking back and forth, writing things down, listening, asking questions. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, like success leaves clues. Person's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I should just go to Amazon and go look there. And person's like, oh, that's a good idea. So then I took my concept of my idea and then go over to Amazon and look at what success has already done, what has already been achieved. And so like looking up the dynamic of the topic niche idea based around what I was wanting to do, co-creating, listening, asking questions from that other person, like, what do you think we should look under for this? And we looked under it and we found a lot of different dynamics. And I was looking up things that were like reviews of 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, between like 1,000, I'd kind of look at 5,000 reviews. I'd kind of look at 8,000, 10,000 reviews. And so like, if they got that many reviews, they're doing something right. And so from there, that was like a whole shift. And so the person, try not to name any names here, they wanted to stay anonymous, that, really feel like I'm going to say we are on the right track. We're getting close. And like, we're both even talking about it. That person's all like, doesn't sound like it's there. Yeah, it's not like there yet. I don't feel it either. Getting close. That person's like, yeah, I think so too. I'm like, yeah, all right. Hey. So stay tuned. I'm going to be having a book coming out pretty soon. It is going to be around resolving unresolved issues, right? And still honing in on the dynamics of that. I'm not going to say too much more right now, because I don't want to be all like, one place or another. Keep bouncing back and forth. But I will say it is going to be on the dynamics of resolving unresolved issues. I know that's kind of broad, but that is what I feel deep in my heart, which needs to come out. And so like, I'm going to stick with that, and it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to save a lot of lives, many generations to come. It's going to be fantastic. Every book keeps getting better and better and better. And this one's going to be the best. So stay tuned, everyone. Pay it forward. You guys start writing your book. Start writing your story. Oh, that is a tip I can leave for you guys. So when you guys write your preamble, what is a preamble, you ask? I don't know. But from like what I'm kind of gathering from a preamble, so like you're gonna, like when you write your book through AI, that's what I'm doing. And you write it through that, and then your preamble, put in your hero's story. Let me repeat that. Put in your hero's story. Like you're here, you hit rock bottom, you climbed your way out, and now you're like on this like mission journey of helping other people not hit the rock bottom like you did. You want to like help people around the world. And so you write that as if your preamble. And when you're doing that within your preamble, that is like the setup. That is like what will like create the rest of the book for you. So that's what I'm kind of noticing from it. So start writing your own story. Start here where you're at now, hit your rock bottom, just go, ooh, and then I was here and then I climbed my way out and now I'm on a mission to help people around the world. You tell your hero's journey story, and you talk about like the dynamics of what you want to do, like however you're creating. You want to do coaching, talk about you're going to be becoming a coach. You are a coach, so like you talk in an NLP framework of things that already here now. Here I am, and so call your future into reality. Speak towards it as if it were here in the present. And whatever you are passionate about, maybe you want to be a coach, maybe you want to be a writer, maybe you want to be someone who builds courses, maybe you want to be like an artist of some sort, and like you're helping people, like whatever like your passion is, action of passion that you're going to like steer into, you write about that, and that will create the framework, from my understanding, from what I'm seeing. So that preamble is very important to create the rest of the book, to branch out. And after I get this book out, I am more than willing to help. I will create a service around that possibly, but I'm going to be mainly a writer and continuing to write and help other people through different dynamics of really like getting their life in balance and check and to move forward. All right. There you have it. I'm Mr. Michael Adams. This is Keep Inspiration Alive. Make sure you hit that bell icon if you're over on YouTube, and we'll see you next time here at Keep Inspiration Alive. I'm Mr. Michael Adams. Toodaloo, people.